the rulers, the archons, and false religious leaders. In religious texts, the term archons often refers to rulers, but their meaning goes beyond the political or governmental figure. Initially, archons were principal magistrates in Greek society, serving as rulers or governors in various capacities. The term itself is derived from the Greek word archon, a masculine noun that signifies a ruler, leader, or chief. In its general use, it denotes those in positions of power, including civil magistrates and government officials, CFOF, Acts 16, 19, 20, Romans 13, 3. Within the Jewish context, the term also applied to official members of the assembly of elders or the leadership of the synagogue, Luke 23, 13, 35, Acts 3, 17. Over time, however, the meaning of archon evolved, particularly in the context of Christian teachings, as the term was applied to religious authorities. The archons in the Gospel of Philip refer not to supernatural beings, as often depicted in some Gnostic texts, but to religious leaders who misled their followers, specifically the apostate bishops and deacons within the early Christian church. The archons are described as deceptive rulers who misuse their authority to manipulate people and hinder true knowledge. The Gospel of Philip provides a striking portrayal of these figures as individuals who wish to deceive the people by associating the names of the good with that which is not good, ultimately enslaving the followers spiritually. The rulers wanted to fool people since they saw that people have a kinship with what is truly good. They took the names of the good and assigned them to what is not good, to fool people with names and link the names to what is not good. So, as if they were doing people a favor, they took names from what is not good and transferred them to the good in their own way of thinking. For they wished to take free people and enslave them forever. This description captures the spirit of manipulation, where those in power, instead of guiding their flock with wisdom, sought to entrap them in spiritual bondage. The rulers in question, like the Pharisees and scribes of Jesus' time, are portrayed as individuals who, although in positions of knowledge, chose to hoard this knowledge and deceive others. Woe to you lawyers, for you have taken away the key of knowledge. You yourselves did not enter, and you hindered those who were entering. Luke 11:52. The Gospel of Philip's condemnation of these corrupt religious leaders echoes the rebuke of Jesus to the legal experts and religious authorities who withheld true understanding from the people. The false rulers, the bishops and deacons in the Christian context, had transformed the role of the archon from a civil ruler to a spiritual oppressor. These men, who were meant to lead with humility and grace, instead used their positions to prevent others from gaining true knowledge, thus keeping them bound. Additionally, the Gospel of Philip emphasizes that while these rulers thought they acted by their own will and power, it was ultimately the Holy Spirit working through them, though they were unaware of this spiritual truth. The text reads, "The rulers thought they did all they did by their own power and will, but the Holy Spirit was secretly accomplishing all through them by the Spirit's will." Gospel of Philip 9. This passage likely refers to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, where the archons, the rulers, believed that their decisions and actions were their own, but in reality, they were unknowingly fulfilling the divine will of the Spirit. The passage reveals that even those who oppose God's plan may, unknowingly, serve its purpose. The power of the Spirit transcends human intentions, reminding us that divine influence operates even through those who may not fully recognize it. To further clarify, the Gospel of Philip elaborates. The rulers' archons wanted to deceive man, since they saw that he had a kinship with those that are truly good. The rulers, although having some knowledge of the truth, had no love for their brothers and kept it for themselves in selfish pride and covetousness. They took the name of those that are good and gave it to those that are not good. They created images or personas of people who are loyal to the deception in order to confuse people. Gospel of Philip 9, commentary added. This illustrates the manipulation of religious leaders who created false representations of goodness, all the while keeping true wisdom from the people. The rulers are depicted as self-serving, desiring not only to control others, but to perpetuate their own positions of power. The commentary further explains how these archons bind people spiritually, leading them into servitude for their own gain. The theme of spiritual theft is clearly portrayed in the Gospel of Philip and its commentary. And afterward, what a favor they do for them. They make them be removed from those that are not good, who are actually good, and place them among those that are good, who are actually not good. Ultimately, the archons of the Gospel of Philip represent those who, in their pursuit of power, manipulate religious truth for personal gain, leading people astray from the true path. The rulers are condemned not just for their ignorance, but for their deliberate actions to bind others in spiritual servitude, keeping them from the true freedom of knowledge and salvation. This condemnation is not just a historical critique, but a timeless warning against the abuse of religious authority.